Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. And today I'm excited for today's topic on how to create raving fans. I once heard that you are better off to have 100 raving fans who love and adore you than 1,000 or even 10,000 people who just kind of follow you. So I think we're going to have a very interesting discussion today. I'd like to welcome John Hewitt to the show. He's a renowned entrepreneur who has made a significant impact in the business world through his innovative ideas and strategic thinking. He's best known for his success in the tax preparation industry, having founded two of the largest tax preparation companies in the U.S., and one of them is in Canada, Jackson Hewitt and Liberty Tax. Welcome to the show, John.
Thanks, Kim. It's a great pleasure.
I actually used to use Liberty Tax at one point for my taxes here in Canada, so that's kind of cool. I now know the person who started it all.
Thank you.
So, John, I'm just going to ask you the really kind of obvious question, and that is, in today's world where there is so much noise, so much trying to grab your attention, is it actually possible to create a group of raving fans who love and adore you?
It is. They say there's very little traffic on the extra mile, and it's all about going the extra mile. And all of my companies, I prided myself in differentiators, things that we do better than anyone else. And so, for example, in Canada, Liberty Tax has about 18 things we do better. There's only two national companies in Canada in tax, Liberty Tax and H&R Block. I never took Jackson Hewitt there, and they never went to Canada. And so you just have to do things that are objectively better than your competitor.
Love it, love it, love it. John, I want to hear a little bit about your story because obviously you started, Jackson Hewitt and Liberty Tax, but now you're part of Loyalty Brands. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about your story and how did you transition?
Yeah, my story is 55 years long. So I just finished my 55th tax season. So built Jackson Hewitt up, public company, $500 million, sold it. Built Liberty Tax up, public company, $500 million, sold it. And now we started Loyalty Brands. And we have 8 different franchisors. And now I've been the most or second most successful ever in tax. Now I'm going to be one of the top few in pets. Our mobile grooming, Zoom and Grooming, is the fastest growing mobile grooming company in the United States.
So what kind of drives you? Because obviously, you've started and you've sold different companies, but what kind of drives you? Obviously, you are an entrepreneur at heart.
Yes, our mission statement really is the key to what drives me. It's real simple: having fun, improving lives. And that's what drives me. When I was a kid, when I was in high school, I was cocky. Even though I was poor, I knew I was going to be wealthy. I knew I was going to make millions of dollars. And I thought I'd just relax. And when you're a kid, I'll just relax and have fun. I'll golf and fish and play tennis and watch shows and go to the beach. And you know what? Along the way, I learned that check at the end of the rainbow, that treasure, it takes 15 or 20 years. You have to enjoy the journey. And so the journey is fun. And I brought in over 5,200 franchisees in my career, more than almost anyone ever. And I've changed thousands of people's lives, created 1,000 millionaires. That there's nothing more fun or rewarding than changing and improving people's lives.
So what led you to start Loyalty Brands?
Actually, it was fortuitous. I was, after selling Liberty Tax, I had a non-compete. And I was having dinner with one of my former employees who was a franchise attorney. He had worked for me both at Jackson Hewitt and Liberty. And now he was in his own practice representing 35 different brands. And he said, why don't you get out of the tax business? He said, you've mastered that. And you're under a non-compete. Why don't you try another industry? And I have an industry that I have this great, they have this great system. Franchisees are making money, but after 13 years, they only have 13 franchises. We were doing the 13 franchises every 2 weeks under Liberty we were bringing in. And so, but in 13 years, they'd only brought in 13. So why don't you partner with companies and help build them from the ground floor? And so we partner with 8 small companies.
Nice. I like it. I like it. We're going to shift gears here, John. I want to talk about the topic for today, how to create raving fans. And obviously, you've got a fair amount of experience in that in terms of, being able to build all these businesses that have differentiated. So I'd love to just have you share for a little bit on how do you create raving fans?
One of my favorite authors, his name is Stan Phelps. And in one of his books, he said, you don't arrive at a meeting just in time, right? Or this podcast. You don't sign out exactly at the time, whatever the time is. Say it's 10 o'clock. You're either early or late, right? And the same way, he said, you don't just meet customers' expectations. You either exceed their expectations or you fail to meet them. So that was an aha moment for me. And after I heard that, I said, well, that's the way I'm going to judge our service. That we're gonna do something that almost no one does. We're gonna call every customer and see how we did for them. And what we found, and that's a differentiator. People love to be called. Most consumers, you either get an email or a little card to fill out or some kind of questionnaire, but we call our customers and ask them. They love to be called. We get more referrals, we get more retention, and it sets us apart. And it helps us to improve on the fly. That we don't have to wait until, for example, in the tax business, you don't want to find out in May how you were doing in January. You want to know right all along the way. So we measure our success by the percentage of customers that we exceed their expectations.
So how would, consultants, professionals, speakers, how would they use that to create raving fans in their businesses?
It's all about the customer input, right? The way you listen is you contact the customers and ask them. And I've been to many, many presentations and many trainings. And I'm been in business for 55 years, right? So I've been into thousands of presentations, and in virtually every one, they give me a couple sheets of paper and fill out how we did, right? And what I would advise the speaker or anyone that has a consumer experience that to be one of the few that calls your customers. I mean, Kim, how many times have you been called in the last 12 months by any company, by any speaker, by anyone, and said, how did we do? And almost no one does it. So it not only makes you better than others in your industry, it makes you stand out from others in all industries. What else can you do? You can't do too many things that no one else in the world is doing.
I like it. I like it. John, you told me before we started the show that you're an author. I would love for you to tell us about your book, and then I will ask you the question that I ask every author that comes on the show.
Yeah, my book is about the journey, and I think one of the unusual things about my book, maybe the most unusual thing is, and I didn't realize this until after I wrote it and started getting feedback, that I talk about a lot of the mistakes I made. And the more successful you are, that means the more mistakes you've made, right? Because that's how you get successful. You overcome adversity. You overcome your mistakes. You get up when you get knocked down. And so I think one of the unusual things about my book is I talk about the obstacles I faced and how I overcame them and what I was thinking. So my book is just a extension of our mission statement, which is having fun, improving lives. My book is to improve not only your business life, but in a bit in your personal life.
And what's the title of the book?
I Compete. Little I, capital C, I Compete. It's on Amazon, but if your listeners reach out to me at john@loyalty.com, I'll send them a free book. I'll even sign it.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, John. The last question for today. This is a question that I ask every author that comes on the show. And that is, what is the good, the bad, and the ugly about writing, editing, and publishing a book? So what was the good, the bad, and the ugly, John? John?
The good is that I always have a gift for, I published it about, I published the book about 10 years ago. So it gives me something to hand out better than a business card or to introduce people to our system, because what we're looking to do is have people that join us that fit in our culture so they can see who we are, and it's about people, not paper. So the good news is you get a testimony about who you are, and you can see whether you fit in with what we're thinking and whether you fit into our culture. The only bad news was that it takes time, that you have to put some thought into it, and you have to think back, and it just, I guess, just simply it costs some time. So I would say be prepared to spend several hundred hours. Even with me, I had a ghostwriter, and I spent hundreds of hours on thinking about the book and outlining the book and editing the book. So I would say plan on spending hundreds of hours of your time. It was very worthwhile, but it's just time consuming.
Thank you, John. I would love for you to share one final thought before we end for today.
Well, I think the secret in life, and certainly in business, is find something you love to do, work hard, persevere. And I think I invented Thank God It's Monday. If you're a Thank God It's Friday person, you're going to the wrong place on Monday morning. With me, I found something I love, and I just it's every day is fun day.
Thank you, John, for being on the show today. Audience, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. We're going to tell you where to go next. So once you finish this episode, you can go to episode 487 by Steve Lowell, The Hidden Secrets of Language. If you're watching on YouTube, you know the routine. The thumbnail will be here somewhere on the screen. If you're on your favorite podcast app, you're going to have to go back about 20 to 30 episodes to find it. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, audience, for listening, and we will see you on the very next episode. Bye now.